creating characters and building a cohesive personality, someone that feels real and not a mishmash of stuff. Hola, I am Diana. Welcome to the part 2 of my approach on creating characters. Last time I mentioned my first steps in how to meet a character for the first time. This time I will tell you what other ways I used, as well as who is the character in my comic. After narrowing down the 3 describable points of the last video, I have to understand the backstory a little further. For a lack of a better term, I use vibes and personality traits, meaning I usually create boards of images to understand the visual and the vibe where my character stands. What type of colors I'm looking for, what kind of style, what kind of lifestyle, what pets or animals can be relatable to this character, and images influence images. Creativity pushes creativity. For instance, this man we are seeing here is Fritz. Once I knew his music, bedroom, and voice, the story showed up to me a little bit. I knew he was German Lithuanian. I knew he was a tattoo artist, and I knew he was Nora's best friend, which meant he was now living in Norway. Side note, Nora was the subject of the previous video. All these details are really nice, and a lot of hints to search for images. What a best friend between a man and a woman looks like. What does a tattoo artist looks like? If nationalities are a thing in my story, then what are the roots of the nation I'm depicting? Now I also know it is a story surrounding European land, landscapes, people, language, all of that changes. A quick tip: if you have a character that has a nationality different than yours, listening to the language this character naturally speaks puts you in a completely different mood of understanding and the energy of speech. At this point, I have images to support my character. As I start to know him, I feel the need to fill some gaps. What are his behaviors, and most important, why does he behave like this? Which brings me to the next point, the Enneagram. The Enneagram studies the personality typology of a person. I went on study the 9 types, and here's what I understood. I didn't know Fritz as well as I knew Nora. In fact, I didn't know him at all. I had a platonic relationship with my character, which many of you can understand. It's a bucket of mess with things I would like to see in him, as opposed to this is him because he is a person. Since I didn't know him as much as I thought I did, I tried to understand what a best friend to my character looked like. I compared Nora and each type of personality. I came to understand that what I wanted for my story as a whole, Fritz would fit more in a type 1. Why? He is super protective. He doesn't want to fail. He feels like he can't fail, which reinforced a characteristic about him. I haven't told you about it yet. He has a little sister. Both moved to Norway as children, under a tutor supervision, which meant he had to succeed to provide to his sister. He didn't have any friends, but he met some along the way. One of them, Nora, which he naturally adopted as the other younger sister. And now this reinforces why he is so protective and perfectionist. There's a lot more to say about Fritz, but as he says in his own character sheet, you can very well meet for a tattoo and get to know him. I hope this video had helped you somehow. If you're struggling to create believable characters, I know there's a lot of information out there, and because of it, I want to leave this video with a note for you. No matter how many charts or images or studies you do for a character, nothing will solve the truth of a real living being until you can feel this character as your inner circle of friends or enemies. As well as each person is their own world, so is a character. You don't have to know everything, but you can, if you ask them the right questions. Hope you enjoyed so far, and I hope to see you in the next one.